And welcome back to Travel Michigan. I'm George Zimmerman along with Michelle Benoche. And Michelle, first stop today is really all over the state.
It is.
Yes.
We are going to be talking about trails and greenways, and we're talking with Nancy Croupiers, Executive Director of Michigan Trails and Greenways Alliance. And welcome to the show, Nancy.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's start with that. What area does the Alliance cover, and what are we talking about here?
We are a statewide nonprofit that helps to foster and facilitate the creation of multi-use trails for recreation and non-motorized transportation and economic development in communities across the state.
And so multi-use, is that biking, hiking, what kind of activities? At
the very least, it's walking and biking. Sometimes it's up to the community. Sometimes there will be a equestrian trail path as well, and snowmobile, usually in the Upper Peninsula or Northern Lower Peninsula. And in the Upper Peninsula also sometimes there's ORV use. But for the most part, it's walking and biking at the very least.
So for communities that want to, build a trail or expand a trail, I mean, how do you work with them? What is kind of your role in this?
Well, if there are sometimes citizens will call us up and say there's an abandoned rail corridor by my house. I'd really like to see if we could turn it into a recreational trail. And sometimes the rail is abandoned, and so we will talk to the railroad about it and collect citizens together to form a friends group, and then approach the elected officials about the possibility of getting the corridor for a trail. Other times we have the National Park Service has an early warning system where a rail company is getting ready to abandon service on an active line. And so we get sort of the first warning, and so then we're able to notify communities, and the DNR is also notified, and MDOT also. And then we talk to them about the possibility of turning that active rail line that's gone into discontinued service into a rail trail.
So is that a pretty common way to develop trails, is to find these abandoned railways and rail trails and convert those? Is that kind of...
Yes, those actually are the gems of the multi-use trail system in Michigan. We are number one in the country, and at 2,623 miles of rail trail across our state.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those are gems. Why? And what makes them particularly valuable or useful?
Well, for one thing, they're on a sort of a broad corridor that is already about 100 feet wide. Of course, for a trail, we don't need that much width. We only need about 14, 16 feet of width. But they were built to withstand a lot of weight, so they're nice and firm surface. They're flat because a rail is never goes more than 2% up or down. Mm-hmm. So it's very accessible for those with disabilities. Nice, easy corridor for mobility.
And that 2,623 miles, that's all rail trail that Michigan has?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, that's great.
Yep. And then when you add the miles of trail that are not rail trail, sometimes they have extensions using other types of linear corridors, such as utility lines or along road rights of way or along or through public lands that are already publicly owned. We have well over 3,500 miles
of trails
in Michigan.
That's great. So talk about a couple of major projects that are underway now or maybe just completed.
Well, one of them is the Fred Meyer network with the Fred Meyer Clinton-Ionia-Shiawassee Trail, and then that goes from Owasso to Ionia, and then from there you can get on the Fred Meyer Grand River Valley Trail. It goes from Ionia to Lowell, And then from Lowell to Greenville, you have the Fred Meyer Flat River Valley Trail. And then from Greenville to Alma is the Fred Meyer Heartland Trail. So altogether, when this network is done, it will be 125 miles in mid-Michigan.
Wow, that's a great. And obviously, Fred Meyer, the founder of Meyer, the grocery store chain,
right,
obviously was one of the benefactors, and that's why his name is on it. That's great. So you've got these kind of projects going on all over the state. For people who are interested, now your website, does it include information on all of these miles of trails?
Yes, well, we do put out a statewide Michigan trail map and directory that lists all of the trails. We also have an electronic trails finder online. It's not complete with all of the trails, but there's quite a few on there. And Google Maps also has quite a few of the trails. If you put up the pedestrian bicycle directions,
right,
a lot of them are already on there.
Well, that's great. Well, you're doing great work. Keep it up. That's Nancy Croupiers with the Michigan Trails and Greenways Alliance. For more information on those trails, their website is michigantrails.org, so be sure to check that out. Coming up next, we're going to talk about a special art exhibit coming to the Detroit area in about 2 weeks. And so we're going to hear all about what's coming to Detroit, and for those of you who are art lovers. That's coming up next on Travel Michigan, where your trip does begin at michigan.org.